Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the world's most beautiful melodies. Now, normally, thank you, when we think about the world's most beautiful melodies, we generally mean something sort of slow and lyrical and kind of romantic and, that kind of thing. This isn't one of those. This is muscular. This one has cojones. This is a real robust tune, and it's by Leo Delibes. It comes from his ballet, Coppelia. Delibes was one hell of a tunesmith. He really was. Remember, we have the British Airways commercial, which was the duet from Lakme, the flower duet. Ya da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da. With the two sopranos screeching at the top of their range. I mean, it's unforgettably lovely. And of course, that's not even the big number in Lakme. The big number in Lakme is the bell song. Well, Coppelia has a bunch of things like that too. It's a ballet, a big, long, 3-act ballet. And in these big, long 3-act ballets, well, they have a plot, sort of, kind of. And they actually work very hard on the plot, sort of, kind of. And the plot is related in pantomime or mime, where they stand around and do this. Like that. And then when they're done doing this and gesticulating and pointing and sticking their feet up in the air and whatever they're doing, then they dance. And the whole point of the plot is to give them an excuse to dance. And the piece that we're going to hear comes from the very beginning of the ballet, right? The first act, it's the Mazurka. And it's a group dance for the corps de ballet, the whole crew there. They're all just rocking, And mazurkas are wonderful things. It's a Polish, originally folk type dance in 3/8 time ordinarily or something like that. And this is one of the catchiest tunes in the entire universe. I mean, it's so catchy that I knew it, as a kid. I knew it. I heard it somewhere. I don't know where. And it was in my head, and I heard it, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know where it was from, and it was driving me crazy for about 15 years or so. And, the thing is that Delibes is not a composer that anybody really thinks about. I mean, maybe in the Bell song, we know, it's from Lakme. Well, who wrote Lakme? Or, he's just not a name. He's only known for 3 works. For Lakme, Coppelia, and his other ballet, to a certain extent, a lesser extent, Sylvia, which is really just as good. I mean, they are absolutely glorious. And I just have to play the Mazurka. Once you get this tune in your head, if you don't already know it, believe you me, it's going to be stuck there. But the nice thing about it is that you'll know where it comes from, and you can listen at your heart's content to the entire ballet, which is all worth hearing. I mean, it's got no dead spots, this ballet. It's extraordinary for a piece of this work and for an art form which a lot of people like to sort of look down on, because although we respect the dancers and we respect the dance, we don't really give much sublimity credit, let's put it that way, to music written for ballet, largely because it's tuneful and rhythmic and catchy, and it's written mostly to be danced to rather than to be heard independently. But Delibes' music works independently. And so here, courtesy of Naxos, thank you so much, is the Mazurka, or part of it, because it's a big long number. It's 5 minutes long. But here's the juice of the Mazurka from Delibes' Coppelia. Go. amazing, isn't it? I mean, you just want to go jump ba dum bum ba ba da da dum bum ba da ba da da da. I mean, what a tune! And then even the interlocutory, the middle bits, the contrasting things and less vigorous rhythm and whatnot are just as catchy and just as lovely. And you better like that tune because he's going to play it about 1 billion times in the first act. That's what happens with these things. They go round and round and round with the big tunes. And there's, then some of the little ballet people come out and do a separate little hippity hop thing. And then it comes back and they all do their thing. And then the next group of ballet people do their little hippity hop thing. So it's got to be something that you want to hear frequently. And that tune never gets tired. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't know why. It's one of those unfathomable mysteries of music. Why some things sound perennially fresh and other things sound like, you want to take them out with the trash. I don't know. But this does. And this particular tune had a wonderful sort of corollary. The corollary is Tchaikovsky, because Tchaikovsky was a huge admirer of Delibes, and rightly so. He thought that Delibes' ballets were better than his ballets, and you could argue rightly so. And I wouldn't say that. But, Tchaikovsky's ballets are extraordinary, of course, and they became the greatest classical ballets ever written, largely because I think we tend to denigrate French music generally in the 19th century, French theatrical music especially. But Tchaikovsky was right. The musical quality of Coppelia is second to none. It's certainly not second to Tchaikovsky, because Tchaikovsky, in the third act of Swan Lake, also stuck in a mazurka. And his mazurka is, all of his mazurkas, actually, are polonaises too, it's hugely influenced by the mazurka of Coppelia. And just to prove the point, I'm going to play you the Tchaikovsky mazurka as well. I mean, it's gorgeous too. And then when I heard Swan Lake, I just have to say, I got it mixed up with Coppelia because the sound of them to me was so similar. And I thought, oh, maybe I heard it wrong. And that was the one I was thinking of. So the Swan Lake mazurka took the place of the Coppelia mazurka until I finally got to Delibes and heard the real mazurka. But Tchaikovsky's is, of course, glorious and a wonderful tune in its own right. It's not exactly identical, but the concept is quite similar. So here is Tchaikovsky's mazurka. There, did you hear what I meant? I think it's pretty clear that the two are substantially related, and not just because they're both mazurkas. I mean, when you're dealing in tiny, restricted sort of dance forms, one thing is going to sound much like the other, particularly when the rhythm of the melody has to go a certain way. Mazurkas kind of go yum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba dum ba dum ba dum, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, Tchaikovsky obviously was a huge admirer, and so should we be. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.